Greetings, fellow wanderers. Tiki here.
And Jacob Wile.
And welcome in to another episode of Wander Over Yonder.
Yeah.
And, okay, so Jacob, you are the Wander Over Yonder expert in this duo that we've got going on. I am just going through the Wander Over Yonder episodes. Every episode that we talk about is the episode that I am the most recently caught up on. So Jacob, what do you think of the little guy? I'm curious to get your take on this before I tell you what I think, because, I know. Thank you. So what do you think? I think this was a very complex episode, and I really want to kind of get your overall feel for it as a Wander Over Yonder fan. So I'm going to throw it to you right off the bat.
Well, without going into much of the plot details, we're probably going to do that a little bit later on the discussion. So I think this is, as many of you probably know who watch this, or for those of you that don't know, this is more of a plot-based episode instead of like other episodes have plots, but this is more focused on the plot instead of just random things to go along with said plot.
Mm-hmm.
Telling a cohesive narrative plot with more focus on character development, other than gags that have character development sprinkled in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think a lot of the episodes, specifically stuff like the box and the hat, which we had just got in, is the last two episodes of the season. I think the box and the hat were both very good episodes, specifically the box. But I think you're right in that it was a very, very simple story. Both of them were simple stories. They served to kind of mildly advance the characters. I think the story, I think the show is really all about the character dynamics more than anything else. I don't really think there's any sort of like large ongoing narrative or anything like that. I think what I'm really looking for, and I think this episode kind of proved it, Jacob, and tell me if I'm wrong here, is I'm looking at this series and I'm kind of thinking like, okay, especially with an episode like this, and this is kind of where I want to transition the conversation to, Jacob, I feel like Hater suddenly got a lot more sympathetic.
Yeah, it can be seen that way. I mean, it definitely proves that even people who follow him can be made good.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, we definitely have the character arc for Wesley, which we'll get into. But
did you see the ending animatic though?
Yes, I did see the ending animatic.
Yeah, so you would know that he wasn't entirely upset that Wesley was missing.
well, I don't know. Just the fact that he had any emotion over it at all, and that light in that tiny little. My favorite moment in the episode, Jacob, and we haven't had a moment like this in all of Wander Over Yonder so far, is when he sees the explosion on the camera footage, and he thinks that Wesley died, and he's like, Hater, or he's like, Peepers. I'm gonna need a moment. And, that got to me a little bit. I've got to say, I don't know, maybe I'm just a sucker for stuff like that. But I was like, that's the first time in the show where I think the show really kind of slowed down and got a little, got a little deep. I don't know.
There are several more episodes like that, specifically these 22-minute ones.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
There's only one other one and four more in this season and four in the next one.
Cool. So yeah, it seems like that's because really these feel like almost not necessarily mini movies, but they definitely have the overarching narrative. Whereas, like we said, it's like we enjoy episodes like The Box, because what's in the box, Jacob? Oh yeah. God, what's in the box? But we still it's interesting. So let's kind of break this story down. We see Azizi Ansari. What do you think of Azizi Ansari as a guest voice? I thought he did a very good job.
Well, I don't really know him much of anything else. But from what I know, he did a pretty good job here.
Yeah, mostly what I know him from is other voice work. But I really liked his character. I really thought that they did a good job setting up this.
I know he's in the show Master of None, but I haven't really watched that.
Sure. He kind of does a lot of bit parts and stuff. He's kind of known as like a character actor, like a new comedy character actor, where he'll come in and he never really steals the show, but he always does a solid job. But anyways, with this guy, Wesley, and I'm sorry, Jacob, every time I hear the name Wesley, I just think of Kingpin and Daredevil.
Wesley,
I'm so glad I have you as a friend, Wesley. And honestly, I can see that same exact kind of dynamic going down with Hater. But,
I think Kingpin's more sympathetic there.
oh god. Perhaps a little bit.
It can be argued that he cared more about Wesley and more about his Wesley than
Peepers, you embarrassed me in front of her.
You don't know how true that statement gets later on.
Oh god. Okay.
Okay, there's actually something that kind of happens with a her later on.
Well, I hope it doesn't involve frickin' Hater smashing Peeper's eye in with a car door.
Definitely not, though.
Okay, good.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Still Disney. Still Disney, but no.
A family picture. Okay, so speaking of which, Jacob, let's kind of transition into the episode where we see Peepers after after Peepers leads a very, very fails, an attack on Wander and Sylvia that just fails spectacularly. They all fall off a cliff. Peepers just kind of has this giant tongue come down from the skull ship, just whack them all.
The skull ship is definitely them. Whoever built that ship is definitely the master of hammer space.
Right. Dragon and I were just talking about the Kevin Smith Superman movie, the Tim Burton one, Superman Lives. That was going to have a skull ship in it. And it honestly kind of reminds me of Lord Hater ship a little bit. I don't know. But
should we explain who Wesley is, though?
Sure, yeah, if you want to really quick.
Well, the episode begins on the skull ship, as the ship itself is even sleeping. The ship itself is sleeping as all the watchdogs and everyone inside are snoozing, ready for... All of a sudden, all the while, the littlest watchdog, Wesley, is staring out into space, saying, "Ain't she a beauty?" Then all of a sudden, the alarm comes on. And Wesley goes nuts trying to wake them up. It's probably just a drill. This is not a drill. They all wake up. It's pretty much obvious that they immediately don't like him at all.
Yeah, which is definitely, it's obvious that Wesley is kind of the outsider of the watchdogs, where
he's the underdog.
Oh, I see what you did there. But really, I think kind of what they're trying to get at with this is, with the watchdogs, the more they just kind of keep their heads down and just say nothing, the more they're kind of in line and function as a unit. So this character kind of throws a whole wrench into that, because this character's trying to be more than he actually is, and he's a bit overzealous about his performance.
Yep. And then he goes to wake up Moose, and as from the title card, you can see what happens with that.
Oh god, hold on. Yeah.
The little guy. That's what you get for waking up Moose. You do not wake up Moose.
Is Moose going to be a reoccurring character?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
As far as I can tell, he really doesn't make any other major appearance other than to punch Wesley.
Well, he came into our lives just like the older brother from Happy Days dribbled his basketball up to the staircase, up to his bedroom, and is never seen again. We'll miss you, Moose. We'll miss you. Anyways.
And also you, Wesley.
Yes. Not Wesley! Not Wesley!
And so it turns out that it was called for a press conference for Commander Peepers to reveal that Wander and Sylvia, the most hated, the number 1 and 2 on the Administrator's most hated list, that they have been spotted on a nearby planetoid, and they were dispatching their group to go down and capture them. Mm-hmm. And that's when it all botches up. For some reason, they don't see a cliff and they all fall down it.
I just want to point out quickly, I think this episode pretty much shows Peepers in the most commanding presence he's ever been in, where really Hater is just kind of in the background and he's reacting to Wesley and stuff like that, but Peepers is the one that's kind of on Wesley's case the whole time. And we do get to see Peepers do, the watchdogs themselves are very, they're not the most efficient, but Peepers, I feel is very much the undervalued. He really is trying the best he can to run a tight ship. And I think more and more is as we see Peepers more and more, I feel like I get that kind of element of his personality where he's a little underappreciated. Am I kind of spot on with that?
Well, it's not. Well, he's more trying to just like make sure that Lord Hader just takes over the universe. Like he's completely devoted to Lord Hader and all that. He's so
Okay.
and they're actually good. It's actually revealed they're actually good friends actually. But like it's like he's in charge of the watch. Like it's like a whole thing. Like Peepers is in charge of the watchdogs. Hader's in charge of Peepers. So it's
Right.
okay. It's like a pyramid thing.
What I'm trying to say, though, I'm sorry if I messed it up. What I'm trying to say is I thought this episode did a really good job of showing Commander Peepers being in charge of the Watchdogs in a pretty efficient way, which I don't think we've really seen before up until now.
Oh yeah, I do see your point there. That's all I'm saying is just that. That's just all I'm saying.
Anyways, fair enough.
I was just trying to point out their dynamic in the
Yeah, I gotcha. Look forward to seeing more of that. Anyways,
there actually is an episode coming up pretty soon called "The Prisoner," where it actually focuses a lot on Peepers himself.
Cool.
So we'll get to that.
Okay, so let's talk about this little scenario that the little guy finds himself in.
So he, instead of falling down the hole, he sees them falling down the hole. He's like, "Well, Hate's great best villain," and falls down himself.
Hate's great best villain.
Yes, and instead of falling down the hole, he gets caught in a branch.
Yep. Now this begins kind of the dilemma for Wander and Sylvia because this guy is just frankly kind of pathetic and he can't last on his own, and so Wander
weren't they chasing him? Or like weren't they chasing Wander and Sylvia? They chased Wander and Sylvia after they were fishing, and then they fell down the hole.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we skipped that part a little bit.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. We don't have to recite the whole plot.
Well, yeah, they were fishing peacefully on the planet. Watchdogs chased them. They fell down the hole.
Really quick, I do like to mention that Wander gives about, the weather's going to change soon. And I really like how that pays off throughout the episode, Jacob. I thought that was a nice little touch that the episode gave us with the changing weather.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just kind of. I'm sorry, Jacob. I'm just kind of trying to fast forward through this a little bit. So Peepers is caught in the branch, and how does he get up?
That's Wesley, not Peepers.
Oh, I'm sorry, Wesley. Thank you. I'm off my game tonight, apparently.
So he calls Peepers, trying to get out of it and asking for a rescue. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The shows him being commanding, but it also shows him being kind of a jerk.
Yes. Well, hey, being commanding and being a jerk can't be they can be mutually similar to each other, I think.
Yeah, but this one definitely coincides.
Yeah, right.
like I'm an important watchdog, remember?
Yeah, Tom Kenny having a lot of fun there. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell he has fun doing this.
Yeah, so Wander and Sylvia, they decide to fish up Wesley, and Wesley instantly, they just put on this ruse like, "Oh no, Sylvia, look, it's a watchdog. Whatever we do, I hope he doesn't catch us and bring us to Commander Peepers to be brought to Lord Hader."
And he's doing it so Wesley can get picked up by them, because that's the only reason he'll come back.
And they just figure they could just easily escape from this guy anytime they want to anyways.
Yep, and it's like, "Lord Peepers, I've captured Wander and Sylvia." Yeah.
So, okay, so the race is on. Wander and Sylvia, they have to go with, they essentially have to make sure this guy doesn't, accidentally just fall into a death pit or something like that, or just, get eaten alive or something.
Again.
Right. That's basically their goal throughout the episode. But, okay, Jacob, they come upon this interesting little conundrum.
Do they go left or do they go right?
Left or right? Or, I'm sorry, right or left? Right or left? Go ahead.
Right? So what happens is they after leading them away, they come across a fork in the path. And using his trusty Lord Hater technology, it is decided to go down the dark, spooky path, which he gets the directions wrong. he points to
right. I mean left. Let's go left.
He points to the left, which he thinks is which he accidentally points right down the right sunny path. But then he fixes himself.
This is a trope in cartoons that never fails for me. Like, whenever I see this in a cartoon, it's always funny. Like, the dark and treacherous path versus, like, the bright and sunny path where everything's sunshine and rainbows. I don't know, Jacob. I see that in a lot of cartoons, and it just never gets old. I just always get a laugh out of it. And especially because of how well-timed this animation is, as you can see.
Moving pictures, folks. We're really stepping up here.
I know, right? Oh, my God. So
I think we should stick with that picture for the time being.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Because it's kind of ways away. But so what happens
well, you know, I don't want to let the animation be too distracting, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to title card. Yay!
Okay. So, I can see that. So what happens?
Enjoy the animation in the background in the box. Enjoy that. You know what's in the box, Jacob?
Wander.
A GIF is in the box. That is what's in the box. All right, go ahead, Jacob.
A gift box. Go ahead. A gift box.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from that slight distraction.
Yes.
A random squirrel steals his communicator. Fortunately, he has a backup. This thing is taken by something with a very long arm. Like, rule number 87. Always have a third backup. This one has a handy wrist strap, which gets taken by a bird and he's dragged away. And of course, guess who saves him?
Of course, Wander and Sylvia.
Of course.
And
the recurring gag, like, after they save him, he still points his blaster at them.
Yeah, then doesn't that lead into a big montage of him pointing his blaster?
Yeah, like him getting into random trouble and yada yada yada. So they travel a ways, get into various situations, which we kind of pointless to go over in this part of the episode. So what happens after that is they come across the mountain where they're supposed to meet Commander Peepers and Lord Hater in the next morning.
Commander Peepers.
Yeah, I love that little tune. But anyways, Wesley, tired of taking the path, decides to climb the mountain instead of taking the trail because he's tired of following their trail, having their fun. As he doesn't, he's like, he warned me you were cunning and devious, and he was right. It's like, no, we're doing it because we like you. But okay, that was a little bit earlier, but I thought it fit in there either way.
I'm sorry. I am not doing as good a job of this with the switching images. I thought the first time I did a really good job of it, but now
I didn't even notice the switching the images thing.
Now I'm failing. Now I'm just failing hard at it, Jacob. I think I'm just going to keep it on the title card. You know what? How about that?
No, it's fine. Like I said, I didn't even notice the whole title card change thing.
Okay, I apologize.
Put it back to the line because we actually made it there.
Oh, we made it to the line. Okay.
Yep. So Wesley realizes his mistake once he sees this thing.
Right.
So he falls back down, hitches a ride on Sylvia with Wander, and they run away from the Fire Lion. Which leads to an interesting chase where Wesley, for a change, actually begins to enjoy himself.
Right.
That sparks. That can pretty much be seen as what sparks Wesley's change. He's actually having fun running away from this thing. After seeing
it's an interesting little slow development, and I don't think that they could have gotten it done in 11 minutes. You know what I mean? I definitely think the 22-minute runtime really helped with this character development here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I said, that's what the 22-minute episodes really are for. Like status quo changes, character developments, all that.
For sure.
So I really liked how the fire on the lion looks, just simple yet it looks so cool. So what happens is, after seeing Wander and Sylvia enjoying themselves, he begins to do the same. He's like, you should totally do that jump thing. That would be so cool. Like, that would stop him. Well, he's like, stop, you say? They stop. And the lion jumps into the river below.
Yeah.
Which actually puts out his fire. It's like, yeah. Like, yeah, thanks for
Hey guys, thanks for leading me to the river. I really appreciate it, bro.
And then it's like, and then he's like, oh, sorry, my man gets all fiery, but whenever I think about something that makes me mad, or I eat dairy, I stay away from dairy.
Yeah.
What if the dairy's angry?
Oh god. No, that was a fun little and then Wander just kind of points out like, well, you see, you never know if your enemies are going to turn out to be bad guys or good. Yeah, Jacob, this is another thing that I kind of noticed throughout the episode. I feel like Wander Over Yonder is very much taking the core concept of a cartoon always has to have bad guys and good guys, and not necessarily flipping that concept on its head, but basically being very direct and out front about it. Where Commander Keepers, and they're basically like, oh, we're the bad guys, but we're the good guys. And Wander and Sylvia, they're the bad guys. They're the actual bad guys. You know what I mean? There's a lot of discussion of just like good guy, bad guy. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, Lord Hater, for one, like the greatest villain in the universe, he's definitely like, he knows he's evil and he loves being evil. That's the thing. But
so the whole bad guy thing, I almost kind of take it as a bit of a propaganda on Hater's part.
What do you mean?
I mean, just kind of getting the watchdogs kind of suckered into the whole like bad guy mentality, all the mantras and everything. Maybe I'm just giving Hater too much credit. I don't know.
No, they follow him. It's not propaganda. It's not through propaganda. It's never known why they follow him. They just do.
Okay, fair enough. I'm probably looking too much into it.
Yeah. There's no really propaganda, no deeper meaning behind why that's happening so far.
All right.
But there's no deeper reason. And it might have been revealed in the sadly unproduced third season, but we'll never know.
Okay, can we get to the campfire scene, because that was probably my favorite scene of the episode.
All right, after they encountered the lion and his brief spiel, he's like, "No, I see what you're doing. You're trying to be friendly with me." Like, well, it's not gonna work. Like that is fake. That's fake. And then it leads like this bear thing. I forget what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's this giant monster that like roars at the screen as it goes black.
Yeah. It's a cobra bear, I think, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a cobra bear.
A cobra bear. Oh boy.
That's what it's called. And then when it comes back, he's sleeping in a cave. At the time about its weakness, it's like, well, glad it was easy to find that monster's weakness. I know I'd be in a spot too if I was tickled that bad. Yep.
And then we get the moment of the episode, I think, which is the campfire.
Yes.
Jacob, this is atmospheric as all hell. I love when the show kind of slows down and gives us these scenes of just like kind of taking in the environment. I love it. I really love the kind of the ambiance that Wander's banjo playing creates. Of course, we get a little bit of comedy here with Peepers being paranoid about everything. Like, this is like the second episode in a row where Wander, like, well, not necessarily, because I'm thinking of like the troll where it looks like Wander's going to throw the log at the troll, but then he throws it into the fireplace. Yeah, here, Wander has the zapper, and it looks like he's going to zap it at Wesley, but then he just zaps the fire, to stoke it.
Maybe he wouldn't be so pointing the gun at them constantly if they didn't hold everything over their heads so threateningly the entire time.
I guess so. Very true. Very true. That is part of the gag. Because, Wander just kind of, like, breaks out his banjo and then very, very slowly, where it's over his head, just kind of, like, lowers it down. And, but, I don't know, it's a very well-timed gag. But what I really like about this scene is just kind of how we're kind of seeing the world through Wesley's eyes in this instance. We're kind of seeing how Wander and Sylvia really aren't such bad people. They're really just kind of, like, nomads in a way. They're, they're just lone travelers. And I think that's a really fascinating dynamic that we've got going on here. I really, really like that element of Wander as a character, and I think we're getting a little bit more into it. I don't know, I don't know, Jacob. I just think there's something about the ambiance of the campfire and the music and the banjo and all that. Am I crazy?
No. That's kind of like what it's for, like to show like it's Wesley. I mean, even without a word of dialogue, it's like a way of Wesley realizing. Other than like he stole my blaster, and then after that, there's like no dialogue for like a minute or so.
Yeah, I really loved it. I honestly thought, like, this episode isn't my favorite of the episodes we've seen, but this scene might be my favorite scene of any of the Wander Over Yonder episodes we've reviewed so far.
It's definitely it's Wesley's way of realizing, maybe these guys aren't so bad after all. Right. Especially the symbolic scene where he drops the blaster and starts just gulping down the porridge.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that could definitely be considered a symbolic scene.
Just really, really well told. Really, like I said, the animation itself just captures the atmosphere really well. I don't know, man. I really love when the show just kind of slows down and takes its time with stuff like this.
And let's just say this picture really doesn't do that scene justice.
No, it doesn't. I apologize for that.
It's fine. I mean, it's a lot more vibrant and colorful.
Yeah, I know. It's the only one I could find of this particular thing. So anyways, Jacob, can you kind of quickly lead us through the stuff that happens with Lord Hader and everything before we get to the finale?
Well, the first thing that happens is that what Wander said came true during before they go to sleep for the night. The snow starts coming down.
Yes, the weather is changing. I love that. I don't know, for some reason it's such a simple thing. It's just Wander being like, yeah, I think the weather's gonna change, and it does. Jacob, I don't know. Am I crazy? It's just like I really just find that charming.
I just say the weather changes as Wesley does.
I guess so. Yeah. Very true. Very symbolic. Right on.
Yeah. I don't know if that's meant to be symbolic. I'm guessing it probably is.
I'm guessing so. Yeah, it's a good little kind of like transitioning of the seasons, turning over a new leaf, stuff like that. I can see it.
It's not as obvious as some of the other symbolism. Like it's not as obvious as
but I think that's what I like about it, though. It's very clever.
It's not as obvious as putting down the blaster and eating the porridge, but it's still nice. It's nice. It's still nice, subtle symbolism. After that,
definitely.
It turns out they all curled up in a ball near the fire and went to sleep together. Even Wesley joined in. And then they're suddenly woken up by they walk out and they just see the scenery, which is a pretty beautiful scenery, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
And thus you hear a "Ah!" and signaling Lord Hader's arrival. Like, this better be important, peepers. I had a brunch today.
Oh, God. Because nothing is more important than Lord Hader's brunches.
Yeah. I can't do a good Lord Hader impression. Well, not right now, anyway.
Do you know what they do in brunches, Lord Commander Peepers? They put champagne in orange juice. I missed champagne in orange juice, Commander Peepers. And now my smoke alarm's going off. Just great. All right, Jacob, we need to finish this off quick.
Okay. Yeah, before your house catches on fire.
Yeah, right.
All right, so Wander offers Wesley a way to like a nicer view up higher up on the hill, like where a view that's 1,000 times better than this one.
Which again, there's Jacob. I'm sorry, I really think that all these Wander moments, all these like very quiet Wander moments, where he's just essentially being like, "Hey, friend, come with me. We'll have a more peaceful time together." It's so nice. It's so pleasant.
And that's like the quintessential Wander there.
Absolutely. I love how that comes out in this episode.
I mean, there are times when he goes nuts, and there are times when he's just
like the box, for example.
Yeah, and then there's times when when he's trying to help people, he's just a calm and collected, nomadic Muppet man.
Yeah, nomadic Muppet man. I like it.
I mean, that's how Craig McCracken described him. Wandering nomadic hippie Muppet man.
Cool. Okay, so let's quickly get through this.
Wesley overhears Commander Peepers saying something along the lines of like, "I knew I shouldn't have sent him on this mission. He's such a failure," or something like that. and Wesley thinks, "No, I'm not coming with you. You're coming with me." And thus they're thrown in jail, and he's hailed as a hero, getting the medal he so claimed. He so wanted.
Oh yeah. And I love the music. Oh my god, I love the music in this episode, Jacob.
Wesley,
it's another thing.
You
Wesley
are the best.
gets the medal. You really deserve it.
You are the best lead.
Oh my god, it's great. It's great.
As it turns out, once he receives the medal, he's not so happy about it. Thinking about the adventure he had with them. Also, another symbolic moment of when he just sheepishly goes, "Hey, it's great, best villain," as the medal goes around him. It falls completely around him. It's like he doesn't want this. He realizes he doesn't really want that anymore.
Oh, one thing we skipped over, when Hader is kind of counting down to the watchdogs, I'm going to give you to the count of 10 for Wander and Sylvia to show up. 1 Hader is awesome. 2 Hader is awesome.
yeah. He's definitely kind of self-centered.
Oh yeah.
If that wasn't obvious already. So next thing we see is that Hader is sleeping. And Hader is sleeping, and then he hears an alarm from Commander Peepers where they check the security footage, and surprise, surprise, they've escaped. Because, they haven't done that before.
Oh, yeah.
No, they've never escaped before.
No, never. Not once. Not once. This is the very first time it's happened.
Exactly. And probably the only time it'll ever happen again.
Probably. I would be shocked to see them do this again in the show. It'd just be unprecedented storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
God.
What happens is they watch it through security footage. It sees Wander. They see Sylvia prepping a bomb to blow a hole into space so they can escape. And they also see Wesley trying to blast them.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is they run away. Wesley runs into the frame as the bomb goes off, and leaving Hader and everyone to believe that Wesley got sucked out into space. And thus, they build a giant
we get that moment, Jacob. We get that moment of Hader just being like, "I need a minute." I'm like, oh my god. In that moment, I'm like, okay, Lord Hader is obviously a ridiculous character, but I can kind of feel for him a little bit. That's a little heavy for him to go through,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about this episode. Like I said, it's not my favorite episode overall, but there's a bunch of little moments throughout this episode that I really love that aren't necessarily the classic Wander Over Yonder, wacky shenanigans.
Well, this is actually probably considered the true essence of the show, though. The whole seeing good in people and never giving up hope. That's
sure.
That's basically the overall theme of the show. Always see the good in people, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode really captures that essence really well.
Absolutely. So how do we end it off?
So what happens is turns out they hold a memorial. They even build a gold statue for him. He was the baddest of them all, instead of he was the baddest among us instead of the best among us or something like that. Yep. And he even gives a speech we only knew him briefly. He worked here for 3 years. We knew him for several years.
Oh god. Which I admit that whole thing. It's kind of all right, maybe Hader doesn't care as much about this guy as he let on, but still, I don't know.
But it's revealed obviously he survived.
Sure.
And they think he's dead. That he turns out turns out he joined Wander and Sylvia for their last journey through the planet.
Yay!
And it's revealed that what's a nice little touch is that he even gets rid of his watchdog hat and even takes Wander's star, one of Wander's stars.
From the banjo, right?
No, I think it's just like something he pulls from his hat and gives it to him.
Oh,
like,
okay.
it's on
Yeah,
his-
you're right. You're right. Okay, nice.
like he gives that to him. Another good symbolism there.
Mm-hmm. All right. All
That
right.
does that. And I have a nice picture to screen share for you.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, let me find that. The closing picture that we see,
There we go. Nice.
which I think,
Nice. All right.
which I think is a good picture to close out on.
It is. It is.
It shows how much Wesley has changed. He's accepted the fun-loving, happy side of being free if you wander over yonder. Which can we talk about the ending song real quick? What do you think of that?
Yeah, sure. Because that was definitely the reveal of the actual full length "Wander Over Yonder" song, which I really loved. I'll have to go back and listen to it again to get like all the subtleties of it and everything like that. But I really liked it for what I heard of it.
If you wander over yonder. That's a nice catch. That's a nice catchy beat to it.
I mean, I definitely think it sums up the show, like sums up what you were talking about finding the good in people and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Your good deeds will travel across the land.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, that's really a positive. I mean, this show is all about positivity, even in the. I mean, except for when it focuses on Hater, but all it is about like positivity, focusing on even seeing the good side in people.
Cool.
This episode really even shows that with Wesley pretty well. Unfortunately, we never see Wesley again. But he was a good.
I don't necessarily
episode.
think we need to. I think this is a pretty good self-contained story in its own right.
Yeah, but he's definitely a memorable one-off character.
Absolutely.
Not a character that needed to be seen
Jacob,
again, but he did make an impact.
For sure. So, Jacob, where do you kind of rank this in the episodes that we've seen so far? Is this kind of at the top of the pack for you?
Yeah, kind of the ones we've seen so far, yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I still think I personally prefer the box just a little bit more just because the box was such an insane joyride for me, and I got to use that 7 clip like 20 times.
What about the good deed?
The good deed, I'm going to have to put the little guy right in between the box and the good deed. I think the good deed is now at number 3. Still a very good episode.
And so this is actually still up there for you.
This is my second favorite episode out of the 12 that we've watched so far. Yeah,
and the only one so far in the top 3 that doesn't involve zany craziness.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are a couple funny gags here and there, but yeah, that's what I like about the episode. Is it really slows down, builds the atmosphere, which I really love. Has a lot of great moments with Wander. Kind of builds on Wander's character a lot. Really fun stuff all around. I thought this was a really well made episode. Can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I mean, there are only a few more episodes that are kind of like this, but especially in just this season alone. But even in some of the 11-minute episodes, they can get away with something like this.
I'm sure they can. Because, Steven Universe does it all the time. So
this episode, I mean, this is like a way for Craig McCracken to experiment with like different storytelling techniques and like animation things and different ways to tell stories and all that.
Right.
Especially with season 2, that's when they got really experimental with some of their stuff.
Sure.
Which I think you'll really like some of the episodes in that season very much.
Okay, well, we need to wrap this up, Jacob. So let's see. The next episodes we have in front of us are The Ball and The Bounty. Anything to hype up with those two?
Well, The Ball, let's just say, let's just say, the biggest game of fetch you've ever seen.
Okay.
And with The Bounty, that's the episode focusing on Commander Peepers I was talking about earlier.
Commander Peepers!
Where Lord Hater hires a bunch of bounty hunters to capture Wander and Sylvia. But he does but Peepers doesn't want any of that. He wants to be the one to do it.
Okay, folks. Well, we'll definitely be getting into those next week. We'll probably be taking a break over the weekend, Jacob, but we'll probably be getting into them early next week. We'll continue on with Wander Over Yonder as we wait for Star versus the Force of Evil to come back on air. So, thank you all for...
I think this is a good place to stop out for now. I think it's like take a brief break from here.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, with this episode and all.
So, thank you all for joining us, and in the meantime, later haters.
Don't wake up, Moose, by the way.
1 hater is awesome. 2 hater is awesome. 3 hater is awesome.